Lee Summit is your destination for big city vibes and small town charm.
Head to the downtown Lee Summit Farmers Market, where local meets fresh. Then grab a cup of coffee and discover a variety of shops and boutiques just around the corner. Continue the fun in downtown Lee Summit at a retro arcade bar. Discover your new beer at one of our 6 locally owned breweries. Cool off with some handcrafted cocktails at happy hour. End the night with live music and good company. Lee Summit, Missouri.
Hello, Lee Summit. I'm Laura, and this is your flash briefing for the week of June 2nd. City Council will meet for regular session Tuesday night, 6 in Council Chambers in City Hall. Meetings are open to the public or watched live on the city's YouTube channel. If you can't watch, catch the recorded meeting on demand on the YouTube channel or by subscribing to the Council Debrief newsletter, which breaks down 3 to 4 key agenda items. Subscribe at cityofls.net. Celebrate the 150th anniversary of the Lee Summit Fire Department at a fun-filled open house on June 7th from 9 a.m. to noon at Fire Station Number 1, located at 207 Southeast Douglas Street. Bring the whole family to tour the fire station and walk through an inflatable house to learn about fire safety. Don't miss this opportunity to honor their legacy and join the celebration. Downtown Days is this weekend, June 6th through the 8th. Kick off summer with this free event. Enjoy live entertainment, vendor booths, fair food, and so much more. Visit downtownls.org for more information. Looking for a career change? The city is hiring. The city offers rewarding career opportunities, a positive environment, and fantastic benefits. View these opportunities at lspeople.net. And stay connected with the city by following us on our social media platforms. Be the first to know about city updates and related news. Find us on Facebook, X, Instagram, and YouTube. Thanks for listening and have a great week.
This is the best place to work.
I love working here.
I feel very blessed.
I love it here.
I look forward to coming to work every day, being a part of this team.
Like a family away from home.
Where everyone feels like everybody knows their name.
A city that supports you. We see that with our benefits.
A pension, vacation days, job security.
Being able to be heard.
We feel valued. We feel respected.
Lee Summit is a very progressive city.
It's growing, it's thriving.
We have this drive towards not just doing a job, but doing it with a spirit of excellence.
I had the opportunity to continue to grow, regardless of 30 plus years doing this kind of work.
It's more than just dollars and cents.
We're here really to give back.
Providing a service to better a community.
To go out and serve people.
To be a part of something bigger than yourself. If I would have known what I know now, years ago, I would have been here much sooner.
Traditionally, we think as police officers, those responding to law enforcement needs within the community. But honestly, we are there to serve our citizens, and our citizens do go into crisis. They do have mental health crises, and we're being called to those scenes on a regular basis. In order to help serve those citizens better, we did initiate the Crisis Intervention Team Program. These are officers that are specially trained to de-escalate crisis situations. Recently, we've brought co-responders onto the scene, licensed qualified mental health professionals housed within our police department, and they respond with those officers directly to those scenes where a crisis is occurring so they can interact with that citizen and get them the help they need right there on that scene.
The co-responders are either a bachelor or master level in a behavioral health related field. They wear plain clothes, they don't carry weapons or anything like that.
I have a police radio that I listen to all day. Listen for, those key words: mental health, behavioral health, crisis.
There's a lot of officers that just call for me. I have my own radio number.
I also have the ability to self-dispatch to them and say 982 is en route.
Officers en route, 914, Armstrong.
So typically I arrive after they've made it safe. I'll make contact and get kind of the rundown, and then I just kind of jump right in.
Like, hey, my name's Allison. I'm a mental health professional. I'm here to help you. I'm not here to take you to jail or arrest you.
Sometimes all a person needs is a voice, someone neutral, someone outside that, can listen. I do a lot of safety planning, including family, their support network, who's close to you. If they're home alone, who can come over and hang out with you today? Can we lock away your sharps? Can we put up your meds? Do you need meds? Can we get you over to the urgent care to get you assessed for your medications? Some of them also are like, oh, I'm so glad you came. This made me feel so much better.
Our main goal as co-responders is to, one, get people connected to the services that they need, and also divert from emergency rooms and jails.
And they almost get a different view of the police responding. That lets me know you care and the officers care.
Please, how can we help you?
My husband has...
In 2020, we had 722 mental health related calls for service. 2022, by that time, 1,479. These mental health related calls for service are increasing. How we're responding to that is increasing the number of crisis intervention team officers we have available, as well as the number of co-responders we have available to respond on these calls.
So what I think is important for the community to know about the co-responder program is that we're here, we exist. All you have to do when you call 911 is ask for us. You know, say, hey, I want a co-responder to respond to this crisis, and we'll go. I was really struggling about 8 years ago on my personal journey with mental health, and I met some amazing social workers and amazing programs that have helped me get to where I am today. I really couldn't see myself doing anything else. We want to help, and that's what we love to do.
So I had a client, we got a call, she had some suicidal ideations, and she really felt that she had nobody. And you know, and getting to know her story and getting to know who comes around and sees you, well then we found a support person and they responded immediately. And we made a plan. I called back and checked on her in an hour, and then I checked on her in 2 hours. We were able to get her into the additional services to where she talks to someone every week or more. I just took a person that really just thought they had nobody and nobody would show up for them, and show them you do. And you'll be amazed who is in your corner if you just simply say, I need a little help.
It's extremely rewarding overall. Just the fact of working with other council people and other volunteer commission members that are so involved and care so much about making this community better. It sort of kind of lifts your own spirits by being involved in that kind of environment with other people like that. For many years, I was a typical resident, raising a family, going to work, in many cases leaving the city for employment, and went through a leadership class through the chamber, learned a lot about our city and learned about all the great amenities and resources we have, and was asked if I was interested in volunteering on a commission. I said yes, and kind of the rest is history. I've just completed my third year on City Council, and so looking forward to finishing strong with this first term, and look forward to continuing to serve this community. My thing is that there's so many talented people in this community that believe in so many different initiatives, and for me, one of the big reasons why I decided to run was that as a residential taxpayer, I felt that we can always increase the business tax base of our community, and that's kind of been a big part of my involvement on City Council, is to encourage and promote and make it easier for development to occur, commercial development to occur in our community, to increase that tax base and diversify that tax base. And so I think we've made significant strides the last few years. We've had a collective great group of council members and mayor where we've really truly accomplished a lot of things that there were somewhat kind of stumbling blocks for previous councils. Working new contracts with our union personnel, firefighters and police was a big accomplishment for us. The fact that we were able to push along some initiatives like the downtown renovation for a market, a farmer's market. It's been a great experience to be part of those meetings, to help nudge it, and to the point where we have a developer involved is just a great feeling to have been part of that. And others, I mean, I think our park system, we've continued to support our park system to add a new community center, for example, that we negotiated with the Metropolitan Community Colleges. So I'm proud of all those things and just being able to help make a difference in many aspects. I love definitely spending time with my family. We have 3 daughters and they're all fairly active, in some in sports and other extracurricular activities. But for me, I love being outdoors. I love the trails, I love riding my bike, and I love playing golf. And we have awesome amenities and options within our community to have that kind of a lifestyle. This June will be 25 years that my wife and I have lived in Lee Summit and have raised 3 daughters in this community. I know this city has incredible, talented residents that come from all different walks of life, very diverse group of families in our community that it's so rewarding to be involved on a government level or some kind of civic commission or committee that in many cases you get out of it more than you put in. And I truly live by that and I believe that.
Order the Finance and Budget Committee for Monday, June 2nd, 2025. Can we get a roll call, please?
Chair Shields.
Here.
Vice Chair Lovell. Mayor Pro Tem Lopez.
Here.
Councilmember Funk.
Here.
All right. Next item is approval of our agenda. I would look for a motion, please.
Chair,
Yes.
I move for approval of the agenda as presented.
Second.
Thank you. I have a motion and a second to approve the agenda. Can we get a vote, please?
Mayor Pro Tem Lopez.
Aye.
Councilmember Funk.
Aye.
Chair Shields.
Aye. All right. Next item on our agenda is public comment. Do we have any members of the public here wishing to make a comment today? Okay. Hearing none, then we will move on to our first order of business, which is item 2025-6960, approval of the May 5th action letter. Do we have any discussion? If not, I'd look for motion.
Chair, I make a motion to approve the May 5th, 2025 Finance and Budget Committee action letter.
Second.
Thank you. We have a motion and a second to approve the May 5th, 2025 action letter. Can we get a vote, please?
Councilmember Funk.
Aye.
Chair Shields.
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Lopez.
Aye.
All right, next item, TMP-3336, an ordinance authorizing the City of Lee Summit, Missouri to waive the Lee Summit Housing Authority's payment in lieu of taxes pilots for the authority's fiscal year ending September 30, 2023, in the amount of $33,874.16, and September 30, 2024, in the amount of $33,874.16. Ms. Berchter.
Hi, Brianna Berichter, Director of Finance here for the city. This is an annual waiver that we do for the Housing Authority, and there are just 2 years because of the turnover that happened at the Housing Authority, but nothing special with this.
Okay. I believe we used to just do these kind of as a matter of course every year. We're just,
Yes.
like you say, a little bit behind because of some internal reorganization they've been going through.
Yes, and I think they have a new director there, and they got right on it and submitted both years, and so we are just proceeding with processing.
Okay. Do we have any questions or discussion from the committee? And if not, I'd look for a motion.
Chair,
Yes.
I move to recommend for approval to City Council TMP-3336, an ordinance authorizing the City of Lee Summit, Missouri to waive the Lee Summit Housing Authority's payment in lieu of taxes for the authority's fiscal year ending September 30th, 2023, in the amount of $33,874.16, and September 30th, 2024, in the amount of $33,874.16.
Second.
Thank you. We have a motion and a second to recommend TMP-3336 to council for approval. Can we get a vote, please?
Chair Shields.
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Lopez. Councilmember Funk.
Aye.
All right. Next item on our agenda is TMP-3341, an ordinance approving the purchase of furniture for Hangar 2 in the amount of $128,162.77 from Pure Workspace Solutions, and authorizing the city manager to execute all necessary documents. Good afternoon.
Good evening, Joel Arrington, Airport Manager. So this is an ordinance authorizing the purchase of furniture for Hangar 2. The original budget for this project was $150,000, and we actually came in at $128,000, so a little bit of savings in there. This furniture will be purchased as part of a cooperative contract with Omnia through Pure. And with that, I'll take any questions.
All right, thank you. Do we have any questions from the committee?
Joel, you didn't get your recliner that you needed? That's why it's less?
Unfortunately not, no. We're bringing over the old recliners, just so you know.
All right.
That's probably why we saved a little bit.
All right.
We don't have
No
any other questions or discussion, other than just, congratulations on moving forward on that hangar. Very exciting.
Thank you.
Then I would look for a motion.
Chair,
Yes.
I recommend approval to council an ordinance approving the purchase of furniture for Hangar 2 in the amount of $128,162.77 from Pure Workspace Workplace Solutions, and authorizing the city manager to execute all necessary documents.
Second.
Thank you. We have a motion and a second to recommend TMP-3341 to council for approval. Can we get a vote, please?
Mayor Pro Tem Lopez.
Aye.
Councilmember Funk.
Aye.
Chair Shields.
Aye. All right. Next item on our agenda is TMP-3351, an ordinance approving amendment number 9 to the budget for fiscal year ending June 30, 2025, as adopted by ordinances 9936, 9937, 9938, 9939, and 9940 by amending the authorized expenditures for the city. Mr. Gentry.
Thank you, Chair. Rick Gentry, Budget Manager. Item TMP-3351 is our 9th amendment to the current FY25 budget. This year is the city manager shared in his budget presentation back in May. We were bringing some items forward from FY26 that came as requests, some one-time purchases that we could move forward and purchase with funds available and resources available in FY25. That includes the contract for the compensation study, which will be on the agenda later. They transfer Green Street funds to help finishing out the cash funding of that project so we do not have to issue any debt. The purchase of a gator, which will be used by our Central Building Services team to help maintain, take care of snow removal, haul trash around, to help set up for events down here in the around the campus. And then several items in public works area to help with beautification and maintenance of a new sign printer for street signs, a mulcher attachment, a broom attachment, various things to help with road and right-of-way maintenance and stormwater services. And our IT department is doing a GIS study on how best we use the resources that the city has for staffing and equipment and software for GIS needs in the city. So those things are coming forward that were FY26 requests. The amendment also includes some things, with a one-time transfer for from the VAWA grant to the general fund for FY24 reimbursement of expenses for staff expenses related to the grant. We have the 2003 Longview Farm TIF that has had a loan involved with that. That has been satisfied with the revenue from that TIF. And now, per the agreement of the 2016 Longview Farm TIF, that balance of that fund will now get transferred over to the 2016 Farm TIF, and then through the life of that, continue with the life of that TIF. Then we did need an increase due to some additional legal services needed for the law department for outside counsels with some of our cases. That's increasing their budget $120,000. Then a couple of other transfers for the police department to finish the completion of the service dog monument out at this police substation out south. Transfer to help complete that project. And then we're doing some renovations up in the admin area for the additional facility and events manager for Green Street. Do a little furniture area up there for the person to have a place up there. And then the last item we have is the transfer of the anticipated interest payment for the debt we thought we would issue, and this year we're going to transfer that money to Green Street, which helps make that project whole for the construction round. And then any questions for that?
Do we have any questions regarding the budget amendment? I think you laid it out pretty well.
Okay, very good. We will come forward with another amendment for FY25 as we're transitioning to Workday. I've heard a lot about that. We'll be doing some cleanup, some funds that have not been used for several years, moving those to the appropriate locations that can be moved to help clean up as we prepare that transition for FY26. Thank you.
Thank you. If we have no questions or discussion, then I would look for a motion.
Chair. I move to recommend for approval to City Council TMP-3351, an ordinance approving amendment number 9 to the budget for the fiscal year ending June 30th, 2025, as adopted by ordinance 9936, 9937, 9938, 9939, and 9940 by amending the authorized expenditures for the city.
Second.
Thank you. We have a motion and a second to recommend TMP-3351 to council for approval. Can we get a vote, please?
Councilmember Funk?
Aye.
Chair Shields?
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Lopez?
Aye.
All right. Next item on our agenda is TMP-3354, an ordinance enacting a new section of the City Code of Ordinances authorizing the city manager to approve claims, expenses, payments, or settlements up to $75,000 per claim, and further authorizing the city attorney to approve claims, expenses, payments, or settlements up to $25,000 per claim.
Good afternoon, Chair. This is Ed Rucker. I'm the Chief Counsel for Management and Operations. Yes, I'll be briefed on it. The current authority legally we have to settle claims is embedded in the budget ordinance for FY25. That authority will expire June 30th. Instead of reenacting that authority every year, what we've asked you to do today is to institutionalize that authority inside the Code of Ordinances. $75,000 for the city manager to settle a claim, $25,000, 1/3 of that amount for the city attorney to settle a smaller claim. That way we don't ever have to worry about whether we've got the authority or not. The only time the council will ever see this again is if it ever wants to raise the limits because it gets tired of looking at claims over $75,000. Any questions?
Yeah, so this is sort of in accord or kind of in the same spirit of how the city manager can approve purchases up to $75,000 without
That's
needing
where the
every single
$75,000
contract
comes
to-
from, is it reflects the purchasing policy you already have.
Okay. Do we have any other questions or discussion from the committee?
Is this, question?
Please.
So does, Mr. Rucker, does this involve like when there's insurance claims against the city, or are we self-insured?
No, this does involve claims out of our self-insurance fund, yes. This is specifically where that money would be spent. So we get a slip and fall claim that we can settle for $20,000. Brian would be able to settle that. That comes out of your self-insurance reserve.
Okay. So we never really, those never really come to us necessarily then. I don't remember talking about these smaller claims before.
So right now, it's included in our budget ordinance. We've already approved this, but this is to approve it for all years going forward, so
Okay.
kind of keep the same policy.
Yeah, that's fine. I want to make it easier for you guys, but I was just curious.
Well, it actually makes it easier for you guys because you won't see it ever again. It'll be embedded in the code, so we won't have to worry about, do we have this authority or not? We don't want to let it expire unintentionally.
Okay, thanks. That's all I have.
Okay. Seeing no further questions or discussion, I would look for a motion.
Chair, I recommend for approval to City Council TMP-3354 An Ordinance enacting in a new section of the City Code of Ordinance authorizing the city manager to approve claim expenses, payments, and settlements up to $75,000 per claim, and further authorizing the city attorney to approve claims, expenses, payments, and settlements up to $25,000 per claim.
Second?
Thank you. We have a motion and a second to move TMP-3354 to council with a recommendation of approval. Can we get a vote, please?
Chair Shields?
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Lopez?
Aye.
Councilmember Funk?
Aye.
All right, next item on our agenda is TMP-3342, an ordinance authorizing the execution of an agreement between the City of Lee Summit, Missouri and the Missouri Department of Public Safety in the amount of $9,160.36 for equipment for the Lee Summit Police Department and authorizing the mayor to execute an agreement for the same.
Good afternoon. Josh Patterson, Lee Summit Police Department. So what you have before you is a grant that was put in for and approved and warranted by the state. It was a specific grant for equipment, law enforcement equipment, and it had a specific dollar amount. It was $10,000. And the item that we chose was a ballistic shield, a rifle grade shield. We have a number of pistol grade shields, which will stop pistol caliber ammunition. Unfortunately, we only have one rifle grade shield. Technology over the last handful of years has improved greatly. Those shields used to be extremely heavy to where they almost needed to be on wheels to be moved. This is a 15-pound shield that will protect officers against rifle fire. So we were under the budget amount. This is an opportunity that we have that was a grant that it's not costing the city any money. It's saving us $10,000 because I was probably going to ask for one of these next year in the budget. So I'd happily answer any questions.
Thank you. Do we have any questions or discussion from the committee?
No questions.
Just say that public safety is always a priority for us, especially with the really sad events that we had overnight. We want to make sure that our officers have all the equipment to keep them as safe as possible. So thank you very much for all that you guys do.
One thing I know he introduced himself as Josh Patterson, but that's Major Josh Patterson.
It will be on the 7th of July. So
It's pretty quick, pretty soon.
We're just getting a little early.
thank you.
All right, if there's no further discussion, I would look for a motion.
Chair,
Yes.
I move to recommend for approval TMP-3342, an ordinance authorizing the execution of an agreement between the City of Lee Summit, Missouri and the Missouri Department of Public Safety in the amount of $9,160.36 for equipment for the Lee Summit Police Department and authorizing the mayor to execute the agreement for the same.
Second.
Thank you. We have a motion and a second to recommend TMP-3342 to City Council with a recommendation of approval. Can we get a vote, please?
Mayor Pro Tem Lopez?
Aye.
Councilmember Funk?
Aye.
Chair Shields?
Aye. All right, next item is TMP-3350, an ordinance approving the award of RFP number 2025-060 for Phase 2 Employee Compensation and Classification Services to DCI Consulting Group, Inc., and authorizing the city manager to execute the same by and on behalf of the City of Lee Summit, Missouri. Ms. Lake.
Yes, Donna Lake, Assistant City Manager.
You may recall the city manager talking about our attraction, satisfaction, and retention efforts, where we had some championship teams made up of a combination of supervisors, employees, rank and file employees across the organization. And we split up into different groups and talked about different areas. One of those groups was benefits and compensation. And as a result of that, we did some pre-work to look at how do we restructure and look at things like all of our job descriptions, vet all of those, but do benchmarks across peer cities and other organizations, and then also look at, where we sit and align with compensation across our organization. And so with that pre-work, what we really did was some scoping to get us to this point so we could issue an RFP. And so since then, we went out to bid, received 4 different vendors that responded to this. We interviewed 3 of those vendors and then selected DCI, which came back at a $267,500 contract to do a 3-year project, looking at job descriptions, benchmarking, setting compensation, helping us look at compression, but then also looking at one of the big things that came back from employees was wanting to be rewarded for good work. And so right now we have kind of this pass-fail system for employee evaluations. And so this will, in that 3rd year, look at really how to train supervisors and look at a kind of pay for performance or really merit system so that employees that do really good work get rewarded appropriately as we go through this process. So that's the contract that's before you today.
Thank you. Do we have any questions from the committee? I appreciate you guys going through this process. I think that transition to doing more merit pay for performance, it's going to be a big transition, but I think it's one that makes sense for us as a city. So I'll look forward to hearing more about what that looks like as we go forward. I don't know if you can do it for council members. No, I'm kidding. But no, that we're always talking about wanting to attract and retain the best people, and you want to be able to show your high performers that you really do appreciate what they're doing. So
correct.
I think it's important. If we don't have any other questions or discussion, then I'd look for a motion.
Chair,
Yes.
I recommend to council TMP-3350 An Ordinance approving the award of RFP number 2025-060 for Phase 2 Employee Compensation and Classification Services to DCI Consulting Group, Inc., and authorizing the city manager to execute the same and by on behalf of the city of Lee Summit, Missouri.
Second.
Thank you. We have a motion and a second to move TMP-3350 to City Council with a recommendation of approval. Can we get a vote, please? Councilmember Funk?
Aye.
Chair Shields?
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Lopez?
Aye.
All right, next item on our agenda is TMP-3344, an ordinance authorizing the city to purchase insurance coverage for property, casualty, and liability insurance programs for FY26 beginning on July 1, 2025, where the total expenditure is equal to or less than $1,500,000, and authorizing the city manager to execute any documents necessary for the city to purchase such insurance. Mr. Rucker again.
As Chair, Ed Rucker for the Law Department, this is the, in the Law Department, this is the Who Says You Can't Teach an Old Dog New Tricks ordinance. Last month, when I reported to you about how the insurance process was proceeding, at the end of the conversation, at the end of the meeting, Brianna brilliantly pointed out to me, why don't we just do this the way we sell bonds, where we don't make the elected officials commit to a specific number, we grant a certain amount of authority. That's an obvious and brilliant idea, and so we stole it. What this will do is it will give Mr. Dunning the right to purchase insurance up to the $1.5 million for which you will pay, for which you already have, I believe, budgeted. Now that did pass, right? For which you've already budgeted. At this point, we have quotes on crime, inland marine, property, and public entity. We are still looking for quotes on excess property and cyber. Last year, we in fact got a call about a quote which was offered to us through Lockton after the council had in fact approved the insurance package. We won't have that problem again because we will be able to move fast enough. Usually what we would encounter with Lockton is insurance promoted for private entities who can move quickly, as opposed to a public entity which must move with some deliberation and some notice. So what we're asking you to do is give Mr. Dunning the authority to move quickly and to do that. He, of course, will do this as Lockton recommends it, which is our insurance advisor. Any questions?
Do we have any questions or discussion from the committee? I appreciate the efforts at continuous improvement, and hopefully this will let us be a little bit more nimble, so
Credit goes to Brianna. She's the one that saw the idea.
thank you. If we have no other questions or discussion, I would look for a motion.
I like giving Mr. Rucker a hard time. So you're taking everyone's ideas and just taking them, running with them?
The law department is based on the theory of good ideas.
Ah.
We just try to every once in a while acknowledge one.
Gotcha. So noted. All right, Chair. If you're ready for, I move to recommend City Council TMP-3344, an ordinance authorizing the city to purchase insurance coverage for property, casualty, and liability insurance programs for fiscal year 26 beginning July 1st, 2025, where the total expenditures is equal to or less than $1.5 million, and authorizing the city manager to execute any documents necessary for the city to purchase such insurance.
Second.
Thank you. We have a motion and a second to recommend TMP-3344 to council for approval. Can we get a vote, please?
Chair Shields.
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Lopez.
Aye.
Councilmember Funk.
Aye.
All right. We are on to Roundtable. I guess first, just housekeeping. This is officially our new committee. I would typically welcome new committee members, but our vice chair was unable to make it this evening, so we welcome him from afar. We're keeping our normal schedule, which is first Monday at 4 p.m. But that's going to be different in July? No, we're going to keep the 7th.
I think we're keeping the 7th in July as well,
Okay.
so be the first Monday of, at 4 p.m.
Okay, perfect. And then do we have any other roundtable from the committee? All right, then I think staff was going to have some roundtable items to share.
Sure, we have 2 roundtable items. First, Brianna Burrichter, our finance director, would like to introduce our new procurement and contract services manager, and then give some updates on some of the guidance we're receiving on grants. And so I think it'd be prudent to introduce our new contract and procurement services manager first. So.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Lisa, do you want to stand up real quick? Lisa Hatt joined the city at the end of May, and so I'm sure she will become a familiar face to you all. But we are very excited to have her on our team, so.
Welcome. Anything we should know about you? Where are you coming to us from? Welcome. Happy to have you.
And then I think you all recall at the last Finance and Budget Committee meeting, we had a brief discussion about grants. And since then, I think we had suggested then, like maybe we'd come back in July or August with an update to council with an overall risk assessment and where we saw things going. I think that got highlighted from a budget discussion that we had around only budgeting the VAWA through the end of the award, 9/30. And so since that time, we have been alerted, and there was a new opening for the VAWA award, which is our domestic violence partnership award that we have with Hope House. And that award due date is June 16th for the application, and new regulations came out. In the city's review of that, we met internally and looked and did a risk assessment on the changes, most notably the change around compliance with current and future executive orders. And just to give you guys a grasp, there are currently 157 executive orders out there that we would need to make sure that we are in compliance with, not only for ourselves as the city, but through our partnership with Hope House. And with the just quick turnaround on this, we didn't feel comfortable with pursuing that award at this time, but we have talked with Hope House. We actually have a representative from Hope House in the audience. Eileen Sheehan is here. And we suggested maybe they go as a prime applicant, and we would be supportive. Nothing from the city side is going to change except for that we wouldn't be the direct applicant for the award. So we are trying to be supportive in that way, but it is a change from the perspective that we have taken on this. So we just wanted to make sure to loop you guys in on that. And then overall, we are planning to come back at the August meeting with a total overarching risk assessment and just how that might change the way that we apply for awards in the future. and let you kind of know where we stand and what we're thinking. So, any questions you all might have?
So if I understand, part of the risk assessment that we're looking at is that not only do we need to be in compliance with all these executive orders, some of which may or may not contradict each other or contradict other existing laws, but we have to make sure that our subrecipients, so if we apply for something that is then where the pass-through to another organization, they need to be in compliance as well.
Yeah, and then it goes one step further into even saying that not only the organization like the city takes on, but you as elected officials and us as employees would accept personal liability for any non-compliance with those executive orders. So with that added layer, we need to first as a city really understand all the implications and review the 157 executive orders and make sure there's nothing that we feel like we're out of compliance with. And just again, with that really short window of time, we just didn't feel that comfort level right now to proceed.
And then do I understand correctly, there's also the possibility of risk to other grant funds that the city receives, including things like transportation funds and that kind of thing, if we were found to be out of compliance or if one of our subrecipients was found to be out of compliance?
Yes, yeah. Anytime we are not in compliance as a whole as an organization, it puts all of our federal dollars at risk. So we're trying to kind of evaluate the dollars we receive, the risk level with that, to make sure that it's appropriate for what the organization deems acceptable.
And just kind of for the committee to be aware, well, like as Ms. Berkshire said, we'll have a more detailed discussion about this in the coming months and kind of looking at that cost-benefit analysis, the risk profile that our attorneys will prepare. But just to be aware that, especially with a partner organization that we really value like Hope House, that we don't take a decision like this lightly at all, but that we really do have to look at the risks that it could have to our entire community and these funds that we rely on for a lot of services. So I think that pretty well captures where we're at right now. But I did want to make sure that the committee didn't have any issues with the fact that we normally would apply for this grant in the name of the city as a pass-through organization, but that we're not going to this time. I just want everybody to be aware and make sure there wasn't any more discussion that we wanted to have about that, and everybody knew kind of why. Okay. Okay. I don't know if our representative from Hope House has anything to add. I'm glad that you're here. I appreciate you taking time to come to the meeting. Yeah. Okay. All right. Thank you.
Okay. Thanks.
All right. If we have no further roundtable items, then we will adjourn this meeting at 4:27 p.m.